Hey yo, Life. Let's go.
What is an MC? Let them see the honest truth. Is it a world star gimmick or a comic spoof? If I'm aloof, then it's probably due to my common view. To probably due to talent. If niggas doubt it, then I'm the proof. If I'm a recluse, then I'm a reduce what people think about me. I'm so obtruse, these niggas can't even blink without me. Very thought of me, arguably I get deeper. My skills intimidate, so I stop seeking out features. Discreet but explainable. And Sway told me that rappers who spit know that you spit, so they stay away from you. And I try to show these niggas respect. You got all the hype in the world, but look at me as a threat. You're insecure, this is pure hip-hop, I see clear. Features for Locksmith, and that means that we peers. I tell these haters, keep clear. I did more in New York in 3 weeks than most niggas in 3 years. The minute I entered the state, my mind state was instrumental. Some niggas, they told me to wait, I couldn't relate, I felt crippled. It's simple, the more you try to reach for the impossible, the more you start to see that some people become an obstacle. How could you ever try to doubt what I've been doing? Try to follow your dreams and people prey upon your ruin. Pursuing what I feel is necessary. I'm one step now from legendary. They say J. Cole is home, Drake is Wayne in a bottle. I guess I'm...
Hey, yes sir, and I'm back once again. It's the Uncle, and I'm here to talk to y'all about... Come on, y'all. Come on. We've been waiting so long for this album to come out. What, 3 years, 2 years, a year? Last year, we was hoping for it. We wanted it to come out, and I'm talking about none other than... The Life of Pablo, which was renamed 19 times by my man Kanye, but I'll be considering that and rating that later on today. Before I get into that, you know darn well I gotta tell y'all about my pickups, and I gotta tell y'all about that new Statik Crooked I and Statik Selektah album. You don't want to miss that. But this week, for all the R&B lovers, which includes myself, if you're looking for some real good R&B soul music, you don't want to miss out on these young ladies. Their name is King, and they brought us a beautiful piece of work called We Are King. Please grab that, y'all. It'll actually bring you back to how R&B is supposed to sound. And then we got Leon Bridges, which if you love Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, that early 60s sound, it's a nice album called Coming Home that he brought us this past week. SWV is back with Still. They do got some gems on there, I'm not going to lie. And if you love Erykah Badu, you don't want to miss an album by Lion Babe called Begin. And of course, Wiz Khalifa brought us Khalifa. I'm not really a big fan of that right now. Maybe a couple more listens. Vita Ruler from the jump. I've been following him for a little while, y'all. Y'all better get on him. He got bars. And a nice mixtape that he just brought out. And then we got Trey the Truth, which is the truth. Consistent. We know that. Kasky is back with Black Sheep 3. Black Sheep 1 and 2 are good. Black Sheep 3 so far not as good, but for all the Kasky fans, you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And then I was surprised when I saw this on the downloadable screen, and we're talking about Currency and Alchemist are back after that covert coup bomb. And when I say bomb, I'm talking about a really, really dope album. They're back with Carlton Heights. Dope, okay? Production dope. And listen, I wanted to give y'all like every now and then an old school pick. So this week's old school pick was something that I bought in the 2000s with. It just was a banger. I used to listen to it almost every day, and it's a classic in my eyes, okay? And I'm talking about The Head Nigga in Charge, the HNIC by my man Prodigy. If you don't have this in your CD collection or on your iTunes or your Google or whatever, make sure you grab that. Production was so tight back then by The Alchemist, Havoc, Bink, who's still doing stuff till this day. So you definitely want to grab that if you don't have that in your collection. And I'll be back after these messages.
Never thought there'd be a method to my madness. Gotta do what it takes to be established. We ain't on the same page, you got catfish. Show them the little magic, that rabbit out the hat shit. Hip-hop's basket case, on a mission to get the staff in shape, just to trash the fake. All I need is some mask and tape to slash the face. Disaster breaks on it, the passion makes. Gotta be in a bad position, bad condition. Wasting my time, kinda mad to listen. I made my mark now, and the past the wisdom. Now I'm itching to make a rash decision. It's funny, it's crazy though, cause the radio taking your money, swirling down, needing heroes and saving the country. Man, that's what we call whack, top of the world, something called rap. Here we go, here we go.
Just a little something called rap. Started from the bottom, I'm on top of the world. Just a little something called rap. Started from the bottom and it started from the bottom, man. Just a little something called rap. Started from the bottom, I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world.
Yes, sir. Okay, now listen. Sometimes a person will come out and you're like, where was this dude at? You know, they've been hiding this ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's just these dudes, they'll let the trash come out, and it'll be a guy like Nick Grant will have an album called 88, and none of you balls will listen to it because he's not making no sellout trash that they put on the radio. So this album, let me tell you, this guy, Nick Grant, definitely got to be way ahead of his time. He got to be a student of the game. If you look at the cover art of this album, the album is called 88, and you can see some of the things that probably influenced his thought process in going to the album. So you definitely don't want to miss out on this. I got to tell y'all about a few tracks that I enjoy off of this. And it begins with a track called Something to Say. The production is crazy. His wordplay is crazy on here. He's far beyond what the young guys are talking about today. Once again, going back to, he has to be a student of hip hop. I Want the World. You know, he got some dope metaphors on here. It just makes you think he's been around for a long time. He got a line, he say something like, you know, all that whining over bread, I think it's communion. I mean, this boy is bananas. Another track, Just in Case. I love the chorus on here, as he, you know, he's just basically telling the audience that people are around you for what you might get. And the content on this song is just so dope. You know, lines like, you know, they coming for you when they see you slipping. Life alert. Like, come on, y'all. I mean, a young boy with these kind of bars, you gotta appreciate. Black Sinatra is another dope song. Class Act featuring Dro, which is Young Dro. The bars on this song are just ridiculous. And even Young Dro is not one of my favorites, but he actually, I guess, rapping on here with Nick Grant, he bought it a little bit on here. I gotta admit that. Trouble, Where's the Love? You know, Trouble Begins, he actually sounds a little bit like Nas on this particular track. And he just talks about a few things that he goes through that worries him. You know what I mean? He runs through like women, fake friends, phony rappers, you know, the entices of Satan and things of that nature. And it's actually a really great message, in my opinion, for a young guy to be making this type of song, and being able to give it to the people the way that he does on this particular track. Another nice track, Gold Chains, I'm Not Happy. Contradiction is a really, really dope track. If you really, really listen to it, trying not to catch feelings for the women that you're dealing with. In the second verse, he kind of breaks down a few old school like love songs in there. He kind of throws them in there metaphorically, which is dope. Royalty featuring none other than Killer Mike and Big Crit. You don't want to miss out on that. You know, it has a nice 90s feel, and it basically it talks about being kings and us coming from a royal bloodline. So believe me, if you're looking for some real good hip hop music, authentic, somebody that ain't trying to sound like nobody else in the game, you know, you can hear the influences of Nas, for Sean, and this dude Nick Grant is just bananas. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. And I'll be back to y'all after these messages.
Superstar Beats.
We on that mattress full of money. Man, I just raised a quota. Yup, I did it on my own. Yeah, I did it on my own. In the streets like a soldier. Yup, I did it on my own. Yeah, I did it on my own. Mix a lean with the soda. Yup, until I'm in that zone. Got a nigga wavy. I got a pocket full of YOLO. I'ma trap it till it's gone. Doing numbers round here, nigga. Doing numbers round here. We doing
numbers. We doing numbers. Right. We doing numbers. Yeah. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't poppin'. No way. If you ain't got no money, you ain't poppin'. Yeah, no way. I just blew a band when I was shopping. New hundreds face blue like they was boxing. Now when I spin, I got options. Everything clean like a janitor when he mopping. You can tell them that I'm on that. All the hating they been doing, we ain't on that. Tell them niggas fall back. Hit his ball cap. Big metal with lifting like a car jack. That's 45 ACP. I'm taking other niggas' property, that's OPP. Yes, sir. Now listen, how can I come on here, talk about Ye, and not talk about one of the dopest albums that came out this past week? And I'm talking about none other than Crooked I and Statik Selektah's album, Statik King. This album was needed for hip-hop. We had some great collabos in the past with these producer/rapper albums. You know, Prime, of course, Indy 500, of course, and it's a lot of other dope producer rapper albums that came out. But this particular album, 10 tracks, I'ma hop right in. Alright, it begins with the track called I Hear Voices. Now at the beginning I'm like, the production kind of lacks on here. Crooked I's bars never lack, okay? But at the start of an album, I wish you would have just came in a little bit more harder. And then my question or my problem gets answered when we get into Magic and Bird. Alright, so Crooked I is Magic, Statik Selektah is Bird. When they team up together, bananas. Alright, so you don't want to miss out on that track. Then we get into Lost a Fan. I love this particular track just for the simple fact that, you know, Crooked I is basically coming at the game, you know, saying he's going to lose some fans just for what he's saying and not riding the same wave that everybody's been riding. You know, so I really thought that was great for hip-hop, and all of y'all sellout balls need to listen to that. And then we get into Everybody Know, another dope beat. Crooked I's wordplay on his track is bananas. He talks about how easy the rap game is. He could get off of it whenever he want. You know, in the chorus he comes at the sellouts in the game. Love it. I love how he mentions Slaughterhouse throughout this album too. He never forgets them. He mentions their names in a couple of tracks, just showing, you know, the essence of he was out before them, but just showing how he's still connected with them and the reasons why he where he at today. So shout out to Crooked I for that. Dead on Jail, another track that I actually was listening to before this even came out. It begins with the soft vocals, you know, basically talking to the doubters who want to see him dead on jail or things that he could have done to have him dead on jail. I love the line where he says he's from the mass terror era and you dudes are from the mascara era. So, I mean, listen, just separating himself from the softness in the game. I love that, Crooked. And then we get into Stop Playing. You know, some nice head nod music. The beat is groovy. Talking to the industry again about new artists basically, you know, selling out just to get quick fame, and they will never be a legend by doing that. I really thought that was dope. Good Going Bad. It sounds harsh, but this has a nice message. You know, begins with like a prayer for forgiveness, and then it's basically the fight between I'm struggling, I want to do good, but the struggle makes me do bad. Dope. And then we get into Let's Go featuring Terminology, another dope track. Brand new-ish, another dope track. Listen, I gotta rate this album. If you don't grab this, something is wrong with you. Your ears are broken, okay? And I gotta rate this my aunt. I'll be back after these messages.
Where is it? Where is it? What? Get away with that torch.
Osama signed the in this partners, the Psalm psalmist. Even David laid with sin and still in today's honored. Honest, I've been a mastermind in a swamp ponding. Chose to fall in the same hole, I'm not finding. no excuse, I'm not a blind man, but this crutch I lean on, a fraud disability. Use that until there's no more left stability, and time pass you by like buses in hood community. Sucks to be the ashy old bobblehead, gobbling tracks, dabbling raps, clapping at rats. High score, got miraculous stats, all facts when your majesty spent. Never throwing a towel, just till my bones rot. And when it's eat up what's left of me in my pine box. Even then, every record I did was spin hot. Ain't no way I could ever be who they forgot.
Yes, sir. I mean, how can we go a week? We always waiting. We couldn't wait for this to come out. The anticipation was crazy. People paid all this money to go here, to go to Madison Square Garden and hear this thing before it even came out. And I'm talking about none other than Kanye West, The Life of Pablo. Now, I know me, I used to love the old Kanye before the bonkers, before things happened in his life, and before y'all started drilling him with all of the social media nonsense and driving this man ballistically crazy. But, music has a way of calming people down and letting you release things in a form that people can actually listen. So, this album, The Life of Pablo, it begins with a track called Ultralight Beams, featuring Chance the Rapper, Kelly Price, and a blended in The Dream that I can't even hear on this particular track. But I can tell you the production, in my opinion, it lacks, and it's probably because of the message that Kanye was trying to give to the people. And then we get into, I was so surprised and happy to see this collaboration on a production. Mike Dean, Rick Rubin, and Ye get together for Father Stretch My Hands, featuring the Dug Up Kid Cudi, which is trying to make a little resurgence. He had an album coming out, and he's on the chorus. And it just got two separate stories, of a past relationship going into a new relationship. Then you got part two of the same song, where you hear Ye getting a little personal as he talks about his relationship with Kim Kardashian, the death of his mother, and some past dealings with his father, which I thought was pretty good. And then we get into Famous, featuring Rihanna and Swizz Beatz. Now, I thought Swizz Beatz was going to do the production, and then I listened very, very close, and I hear freaking Havoc on the drums. Come on, man. I would never think that they would even get together and collabo. I'm sorry. I know the fans, the people that are trying to dislike Ye so much, but this is just classic in hip hop. So you hear some nice throwback little samples from Ye on that particular track, and I enjoy that too. Feedback, which again produced by Mike Dean and Ye. I mean, I can't lie and say that I don't like the beat, because I guess it's just because of Mike Dean. For some reason, I still hear like Scarface and Ghetto Boys in the track. And it's basically Ye talking about his disappearance for 3 years. He's talking down to his haters. He talks about where he came from. And also the line like, put your hands up, because that's what the cops taught us. I like that, crowd participation / a shot. And then we get into highlights featuring Young Thug. Come on, let's not be stupid. Skippies. And then we get into I Hate Kanye. It was a late little ad. So, it has no beat or nothing. Skippies on that also. Waves featuring Chris Brown. I get the metaphor. Skippies. And then we get into FML. The letters can stand for a few different things. F my life, it was a lot of little things that this could stand for, but what I get out of this track, it's basically talking about the things that Kanye has done to like ruin his life, his relationships, things of that nature, and who are we to criticize? We all have done things that we kind of regret. He talks a little bit about, cheating, getting caught, and things of that nature. And then we go into Real Friends with, again, my man Havoc on the boards. I mean, come on, y'all. If you can't hear Havoc in this song, then you're completely missing out. Havoc teams up with Boy Wonder. I mean, that is a great marriage. As much as I wanted to hate a lot of this stuff on here, those particular tracks, I skipped a lot because it is a lot of skippies on here, but it is some tracks, some gems within this album, and this just happens to be one of them. Ty Dolla $ign on the chorus. I love him and Ye going back and forth on the second verse. Wolves featuring Frank Ocean. I get it. Depression, drugs, failings, lacks in their lives and things like that, but skippies. No More Parties featuring Kendrick Lamar, produced by Madlib. I was very, very surprised on this particular track. I really enjoy this track. The content is good. In LA, people chasing dreams, chasing stardom, women chasing entertainers. I get it. I like that. And then that's basically where I end the album at. And I'm going to rate this, and I'm going to be out of here. It was a lot of things that Kanye could have did without on here. I understand. I know he was trying to, relay some sort of message, but he could have done without a lot of this stuff on here. And I'm going to tell you, on the Uncle Bush rating, what's up, cousin? That's what you get.